Once upon a time, at a train station, outskirts of town, there was a woman named Clara. She had been traveling all day and feeling very tired. Her train leaves in 1 hour. While waiting for her train, she walked towards the bakery on the corner of the station and bought a small bag of cookies. Then she looked for an empty bench to rest his body and sat there with her purse and belongings beside her. As she settled in, an old man sat next to her. He wore a casual jacket and had a friendly but unassuming demeanor. Clara glanced at him briefly and then opened her bag of cookies. She pulled out a book to read, hoping to immerse herself in its pages until her train arrived. Moments later, Clara heard a faint rustling sound. She looked over and saw the old man reaching into the bag of cookies on the bench between them. To her astonishment, he took a cookie and ate it as though it was the most natural thing in the world. Clara couldn't believe her eyes. How rude, she thought. She didn't want to make a scene, so she reached into the bag, took a cookie for herself, and ate it, making sure the man saw her gesture. But the old man didn't seem fazed. Instead, he smiled at her, reached in again, and took another cookie. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by. For every cookie she took, he took one too. The bag was getting emptier by the minute. Finally, only one cookie remained. Clara glared at the man, wondering what he would do. Without hesitation, he reached into the bag, then broke the cookie in half and offered one half to Clara. She snatched it from his hand without a word and ate it, still angry at his audacity. Soon after, the old man stood up, gave Clara a polite nod, and walked away. Good riddance, she thought, still upset about the ordeal. When her train arrived, she gathered her things and prepared to board. As Clara reached into her purse to grab her ticket, she froze. There at the bottom of her bag was her unopened bag of cookies. She stared at it in disbelief, her face turning red with embarrassment. The cookies she had been eating all along had belonged to the old man, not her. Clara sank into her seat on the train, overwhelmed with guilt and shame. She realized how quick she had been to judge, how easily her assumptions had clouded her perception. The old man hadn't been stealing. He had been generously sharing his cookies with a stranger who thought the worst of him. That day, Clara learned an invaluable lesson. It's easy to assume the worst about others, but kindness and patience often reveal the truth. She promised herself to be more mindful, more understanding, and to give people the benefit of the doubt. The world could use more sharing, more kindness, and perhaps a little less judgment. This story tells us about the dangers of making assumptions and the value of kindness and understanding. Avoid jumping to conclusions about others based on limited information. Recognize and appreciate acts of kindness, even when they come from unexpected places.